at women's rights, the right of a girl child, or the right of a woman, and so much more that we'll be looking at today. And I'm having two lovely guests in the studio today that will be telling us more that we need to know about our rights. I'm having Mrs. Oluwakemi Ayonleye, a lawyer and a lecturer. You're welcome to this program. And I'm also having Mrs. Omolola Ademi Balogun, a lawyer also and a lecturer, and they are both members of International Federation of Women Lawyers. You're welcome to this program, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now we are looking at human rights. What actually is human rights? Let me go to Mrs. Adeyemi Balogun.
A human right is a fundamental right. It's a universal right, and it's a human being. As soon as you are a human being, that you have that right. It's a bundle of rights that each human being is entitled to.
Okay.
As a human being, even not as a citizen, but as a human being.
No matter the country I go to, I have a right.
You have the right.
Okay, do you have more to say about that?
Yes, those rights, like she said, are in everybody by virtue of that person's humanness, irrespective of gender, sex, race, color, creed, or religion. It means that it is universal. It is on everybody. In fact, sometimes we say that the rights are from the womb to the tomb.
Okay.
Yes.
Meaning that from the belly to
to the tomb. Yes. So,
okay, well, let's see some of these rights that we have, because some of us don't even know our rights. People might just mess up with us outside, and we don't really know our rights.
Our rights are even they have the constitutional backing. It is provided in Chapter 4 of our Constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The whole of that Chapter 4 talks about our rights, and it begins from the right to life. We have right to life. We have right to freedom from discrimination. We have right to assembly. We have right to family. We have rights to our liberty. We have rights to fair hearing. Even right to even acquire both movable and immovable properties.
Wow. Okay. Yes. You have more to tell us, man.
Yes, like she said, the right to life, the right to fair hearing, the right to religion, freedom of religion, thought, freedom and conscience. Of religion. Yes, but everybody has the right to choose his or her own religion. Nobody should be forced to adopt any religion. It is the person. There is a freedom to that. The right to acquire immovable property anywhere in Nigeria. So, being in Lagos or Ogun State or Abuja, I can acquire property anywhere in Nigeria. Then, of course, we talked about freedom of the press. That is freedom of speech, which also affects the freedom of press. So those are the plethora of rights from Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution up to Section 44. These rights are listed there.
Okay. Is there anything that has to do with that? Like, we have rights, because we were talking the other time that we still have laws that still maybe interfere with those rights again. Like right to life. If somebody steals or somebody kills, I think the person has the person's life can be taken or something.
Well, in Nigeria, we still have what we call capital punishment. That is death penalty. So the right to life is subject to if a person has committed an offense and the person has been properly tried before a competent court that has jurisdiction, and the person has now been the sentence has been pronounced on that person that the person should be killed.
Okay.
Yes. So that's when the only instance where the right to life could be derogated from.
I want to look at the women's rights now. What are do we have rights over our body, like a married woman now? I don't feel like having babies any longer. Do I have right to say no to my husband?
Yes, we have. That is what the international instruments are telling us. We have so many international instruments that says that no, we cannot be forced. We cannot be coerced into marriage. Let's start from there. We cannot be coerced into marriage. We cannot say we have the right to our body. Like my body, my rights. I have the right to decide what goes into my body. And even if it even goes in there, I have the right to even exclude it.
Excluded that like aborting?
Aborting.
Wow.
Abort. That one is what we are being restricted
Okay.
from doing here.
Yes.
Yes, we have a right to even determine when to have children, when to become pregnant. The spacing of our children, we have the right to it. We have the right to decide whether to marry or not. We have the right to choose whom to marry. We have the right to choose whom to have sex with. To have sex relationship with, we have the right to do that. And that is what CEDAW is talking about.
Okay. When you say CEDAW, that means the
Convention on Elimination of Discrimination
against women. It's an international convention.
It's an international instrument.
When you're talking about
we have the Article 1 there.
Yes.
This defines it.
Now, when we're talking about this,
that when that happens, is discrimination.
So when you're talking about this issue of the right to your body, yes, even we have the laws now. Before, a man cannot be guilty of raping his wife. But now he will be guilty of raping his wife under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act.
Is it now in the law?
It's in the law.
It's in the law.
We have a law now.
Because it was an argument with some men that
before
they have the right to their wife's body and all that.
Before a woman, once she's married, she has consented, she has given blanket consent to have sex with her husband.
Even when
but now she can decide that no, I do not want to. And when if the man forces her, then it becomes spousal rape, and it will be liable.
Is that not why we are having women battering, women being beaten or being killed, being maimed and all that, because of the woman want to stand up to fight for her right, to say no, my body is my body, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. What can you say about wife battering and all that, Mrs. Balogun?
Wife battering, it's a violence against the persons of a woman. It's her own person. It's a violence, and even is an assault, because even the criminal code, our criminal code law, the Criminal Code Act, Section 252, even defines it that assault, even mere touching the person without her consent, is assault. Yes.
Even if it's the person's wife.
Even if you cannot touch her anyhow.
The thing is that yes, the fact that you are the husband does not give you the right to assault. And that, like I said before, especially when we go to the police station, you go and report a man that he has assaulted you as the wife. They normally say, well, that's
a family matter,
a domestic affair. Go and settle it and all that. No.
There's no more.
The law specifically says that yes, you have the right to say no, and if the man goes ahead either to rape or beat the wife, he will be on conviction. He will be liable to minimum of 3 years imprisonment. Under the VAP Act and the law, and then of course maybe fine of about 300,000 or more, and then even those who aid and abet the person, that those who are women now have the right, because women are the ones that actually face this thing more. We're not saying there are no violence against men, but it's actually more on the women than the men. Okay. And now that the law has come, the women need to come out and speak. Sometimes they are coward into keeping quiet, but we have organizations like FIDA,
this FIDA. Yes. Let's know the full meaning of FIDA.
FIDA means is a Spanish, is an acronym for the Spanish name of the association, Federación Internacional de Abogadas, which translates into Federation International of Women Lawyers. It's only women lawyers that are members of this association. And in Nigeria, we have the parent body, and then each of the states also has their own branches. So we are members of the Ogun State branch. Okay. And specifically, the focus of FIDA is on women's rights. We actually try to fight against this gender-based violence, women trafficking, sexual assault, even aside from the home, schools, workplaces, You know, people are also assaulted. A young person in an office could be assaulted, could be sexually
Threatened.
molested,
Be harassed.
harassed. So those are some of the things that we do. So, like we say, the voice for women and the children, because
Okay.
these are the vulnerable groups in the society.
Okay. So now, any woman going through such challenge, like a violence in the working place or being threatened and all that, can easily call FIDA, I guess.
Yes.
And when you call FIDA, do you pay any money? Do you what about the monetary aspect? Can anybody afford it and all that?
No. FIDA is a voluntary
It's a voluntary
organization.
organization.
It's a non. We do what we call pro bono
Pro bono
services.
services.
That means that we do not. Anybody that seeks our services does not pay. Sometimes, or even most of the times, if we have to file matters in court, we actually do the payment from ourselves. So we task members to bring money. For instance, we have zones in Ogun State here. We're in Ashagamu, we're at Ota, we're at Abeokuta, we have Ijebu zone and all that. So if they call me as a chairperson, and I'll find out where the person, so I'll refer the person to the nearest zone so that they can link up and then they take up the matter for them.
Okay. Have women really been responding, coming up?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
They have been
In
responding.
fact, sometimes it gets to the absurd sometimes. They call,
What are those things that are they coming to report so that people at home can easily say, oh, I'm not the only one in this issue. I can easily go and report too.
Since I became the chairperson of FIDA Ogun, I've received several calls. One person called me that the husband abandoned her with 3 kids, has not been picking her calls. In fact, I had to send her money because she said she just gave birth. The man has gone since December and she hasn't seen him. Unfortunately, she doesn't know where he is. But she gave me the phone number and I called the man. And he was being very, very adamant that because of some things that he... So we're trying to see how we can trace him so that we go and pick him where he is. Because even the violence against the says that a man that abandons his family. Which is this dependence, it's a crime, it's an offense that is punishable with imprisonment and also fine. So, and a person that is actually harboring such a man is also guilty of the same offense and is going to also be liable for fine. Only that the degree of the man is going to be different from that of the person. So sometimes when the man abandons the wife, goes to another person, they are both guilty of an offense under this violence. So under the act, we have what we call domestic violence, even some of them that are economic acts of violence. When you restrict the woman from
Working,
making
money,
making money, and you don't give the money, or you
give
don't
her
let
money.
the woman see other people, you try to restrict them and all that. Those are economic violence too, because when you also psychological violence. So it's not when you're talking about the violence against women, really, it's not just when you batter the person.
Okay.
There are so many other ways that it can be violent.
That's
And
psychologically.
Yes, psychologically,
you insult the
you don't allow the
person.
person to
You don't allow her to interact.
you lock the person up and all that. So those are some of the things that the violence against persons law is actually talking about. It has made provisions for the infringement, and anybody that infringes, once the woman comes up and the man is found guilty, he will either go to prison or he will pay a fine. And most of the fines are in the region of 200, 300, 500. The people who have abetted the person will also be guilty of the fine, of the offense, and also will pay a fine. Sometimes it will be just the fine, the imprisonment or fine, or both, depending on the gravity of the offense and then the judge.
Okay, but sometimes these things, don't you think, is in a way is interrupting with our culture? Some of our culture says, oh, woman can stay at home, the man goes out to work and all that. But if the woman now say, oh, I want to work now, don't you think it's like a way it's affecting our culture? The culture says the women should stay at home.
That's what we're saying about
No, I'm not sure there's a culture that says
women should not work.
No. If you look at even all our people from this thing, women are working. From time immemorial, they hold important positions in the society. They are merchants. They have money. So no culture says do not work. It's just that maybe the culture says, okay, try and prioritize so that your children do not suffer. But no culture says do not work. So maybe it's the men trying to patriarchal nature of trying to sideline the woman or repress the woman. No, I've not seen any culture that says do not work.
So, well, some women are wedded, and maybe some men are scared of maybe when their wife is going higher, having some kind of being in some kind of position. They are being threatened and all that. Do you think they have any right to stop their wife from getting to any position they want to get to?
They don't have that right. They do not have. That is what
she just said.
Just said that no culture say, or no culture bars any woman from going about any economic activities.
But when she abandons her family, like her children, like who takes care of the children? Because with more responsibility outside there, you don't have time for your home. Maybe the man now starts fighting. No, you have to stay at home to take care of your children.
It has to be an agreement between both of them. That's not one.
That's one.
It has to be an agreement. Okay, fine, yes. And then again, many of us know how to balance.
The woman will balance.
You see, God has really blessed women. He has given us that
multitask.
Yes, thank you for that word. That we can multitask. Your wife, your mother, you are a CEO,
your sister,
you are a sister, you are a child, yes. And yet you can balance most of the tasks that women do. Really, when they are given to their men counterpart, I'm sure they will fail.
Woefully.
Let me give you an example. For instance, you hardly see a woman who retires from after maybe at 60 or 65 sitting down and doing crossing legs. No.
She
either has a shop there at this Kaje market or New Market or wherever.
In her home.
Has something doing. But men will sit down reading newspapers because they are retired.
I think it affects their health too. By the time you start sitting down without doing anything,
so women, God has just blessed them with that inner core strength to be able to multitask. It's just that they need to be able to know when to
balance
it, how to balance it,
so that home will not suffer.
Home will not suffer.
So now, who are the right people to protect this woman's rights, human rights?
Human rights.
People who know we have the lawyers, the police, and which other body?
All of them. Body. Once a justice is a tripartite thing. Justice for you and I. Justice for the states.
To the society, yes.
To the society and to our opponents. There are three people involved in any judicial activity or in any litigation, let's say litigation, even if it's criminal matters. We have the justice for the defendant or accused person, justice for the states, and justice for even the victim of that offense.
Okay.
Yes, the courts. The court is that is the last hope, of the common man and woman. That is where they will say they seek justice. So the police are also involved in this, because even if your right is being infringed upon, you can, even if it's the criminal aspect, you can report to. That's the first place of call, the first point of call. Where the police will now conduct a preliminary investigation, as the PI that they do, and if it needs to be forwarded to the courts, they forward it to the courts, and if it can be settled out of court, then yes. Okay. So the lawyers are there to also defend. Even a person who has been alleged to have committed a capital offense still has right to be defended. Okay. If that person does not have a lawyer in court, the court will assign a lawyer.
Assign a lawyer to that person.
Will assign the court, the states will assign lawyers to that person.
Why is it that way? Because sometimes I get angry when I see some lawyers defending someone that has committed a crime.
Yes,
because it's their rights.
Let's say something. You know, she said the issue of justice. Justice. Sometimes the thing you have seen is not always as it is. Some of these things you say yes, it started somewhere. So many things are involved, and then the law has said that before I can say somebody has committed this offense, these are some of the things that must have happened. And then we have seen we just saw the person. For instance, something we call circumstantial evidence. We saw a dead person. We saw somebody there trying to pick the person up. You don't know whether that one was trying to help. You don't know what the person was doing, and they have assumed that yes, it's
the one that killed him.
So that's why that person deserves a lawyer, because he might not be able to defend himself. He doesn't know the intricacies of the law, but the lawyer will not be able to decipher whether he actually did it or not, and then the other person will need to prove its case. So that's why the law says that every accused person is entitled to a lawyer, especially if it's the law is that a person is innocent until proven guilty.
Okay.
Then she also mentioned the issue of justice again to the victim. Before, our laws are so that when you go to court, when it's a criminal matter, they have gone to the police station, they have arrested the person, they have jailed the person. You are the owner of the property, you still get nothing back.
But now
this Violence Against Persons Act says that compensation will be paid to the victim. So it's not just about
even the Administration of Criminal Justice
Act too. So it's not about punishing the offender now, but also compensating the victim. So that means that our law is moving, it's evolving. It's no longer about just punishment, but it's also about restoring the person who has suffered some injustice to the position, maybe not to the position, but at least we'll be able to gain something from that.
Okay, I think we don't have much time again. But before we go, what do you have to tell women outside there about FIDA, and even with their children? Some women are just left. Some women too even leave their children without taking care of them.
Yes, women, we really have a lot to do, especially in respect of our children. We need to take care of our children. And when we are facing any challenges, there are so many organizations that are out there. They can call us. And once they call us, we'll liaise them with the necessary bodies that can take care of that. And we've done that severally. There are so many cases that we are handling presently. FIDA Open, that we're handling presently. Shagamu, Songo, so many places that we do go there. And then aside from that, we also go to secondary schools to sensitize them, educate them on their rights. Aside from the girls, also the boys, because sometimes when we're talking about girls,
boys who are being maltreated.
Aside from being maltreated, we also need to train them to change their psyche, because
they see their father beating their mother and they think it's a normal thing.
So it's these boys that are going to grow to men. And the girls that we are grooming, the girls are going to marry those men that we have refused to groom. So we need to start now to groom both the girls and the boys, so that we'll be grooming queens for the kings.
Yeah.
So if we say no, they're girls, there's going to be a problem.
Okay, Ma, what do you have to tell the audience before we wrap it up?
Women should. What I have to say to the women out there is that they should voice out. They should be bold to speak up. Call the numbers on any of the numbers on the screen. We will come to their aid. They shouldn't be afraid. They should speak up.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, because it's had a wonderful time having you. And thank you, Via Sotun, for being there. You've heard it all. Especially as a woman, if you are going through any challenge that you think someone is infringing into your rights, speak up. You call the numbers on the screen and tell somebody, so that you will not be a victim or somebody that will start regretting, or people start regretting, she would have spoken up or would have taken an action. That will not be our case. Thank you very much for being there. To come your way again on this program next week. Bye-bye.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
Proper funding,
training,
and cooperation.
if it happen,
if it happens.
If it happens.
Elections dey very important.
E go come
and e go go.
Nigeria
go remain.
Make we no fight for this election.
Because now all of us go suffer. Election na do.
No be die matter. Vote, not fight.
Election no be war.
Election dey very important.
But e go come and e go go.
Nigeria go take it back. Make we no fight for election.
Because now all of us go suffer.
Election na do. No be die matter.
Vote, not fight.
Election no be war.
Thank you very much. You brought gift for me?
Not for you, for Sergeant Mashanu, sir. I've come to thank your boys, especially Sergeant Mashanu, for recovering all my property that the armed robbers stole from me.
They are representing us very well.
Well, my Superman.
No, that is me. Madam, it's okay. Madam, what? You don't have to do this in my office. Madam, please go. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you later.
No,
madam.
You are hugging somebody in my office.
No, she said I'm her Superman, sir.
Oh, so you have become Superman?
Of course.
You have become Superman from
Yes,
Superman. Nothing, you are Superman.
Well, you know, it's...
You know it's because of the training that I gave you that you were able to perform very well.
Well, it was me that utilized the training with my courage.
Yeah.
I entered the bush.
Yeah.
I said, these criminals, I must catch them.
And you use your eye to track their telephone call?
It's the new tracking device.
Can you see?
You know, it's my knowledge.
It's your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
You are talking, I'm talking, you are talking. Who is the talk at you?
Sorry, sir.
Sergeant Mashanu, do you
Yes,
want
sir.
your promotion?
I want my promotion,
Yeah,
sir.
so keep quiet. What you are going to do? Go back to. Are you not supposed to be in duty?
I'm supposed to be on
Yeah, so get out of my office
Man,
now.
guy, you're always saying this because you are sitting behind the desk. You don't know how it feels to go out in the field.
What? When I was in Czechoslovakia, let's not go there. One day I'll gist you about my story. You are growing long to shoulder around. Huh?
No,
it's
this
me.
is
I'm
how
talking
my-
to.
it's my
Get
right.
out of my office.
Shut up.
Leave it. Leave it.
No, she said these things about
because you said I said, Sergeant Mashanu, do you not want your promotion?
Yes, sir.
Ha! Oh, so now it's because of this training and new equipment that were brought.
I'm my courage, sir.
I don't know what to do with this boy. Sergeant Mashanu,
Sure, sir.
resume duty. Ha! But even though it's true, I mean, with the new trainings and new equipment, very soon we're going to arrest everybody.
Only criminals, sir. I'm dying. The pain is too much.
Kai,
Sure, sir.
Sergeant Mashanu,
Good evening, sir.
you're trying to scare me. You're doing like zombie. What?
No, sir, it's not zombie.
Then why are you moving like that?
Okay, I went for operation, then one boy he hit my hand, okay?
Hit your hand.
Yes.
Ha!
It seems I
Is
can't.
that why you're moving with the hand one
I
side?
can't even see clearly, okay? My eyes turning.
Huh? Because of this mountain?
It's not small.
On the news tonight, stakeholders identify peaceful coexistence as germane to economic development. Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics begins 2-week strike. Sokoto State Government relaxes curfew. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the news tonight, reaching you live from the studio of NTA Jebudi. My name is Joel Bukwola. Now the news in details. Today is the International Day of Living Together in Peace. It is a day to promote peace, tolerance, inclusion, understanding, and solidarity. Following the devastation of the Second World War, the United Nations declares May 16 as International Day of Living Together in Peace to save succeeding generation from the scourge of war. Ruth Agwele completes the report.
The day aims to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language or religion. The day also aims to uphold the desire to live and act together, united in differences and diversity, in order to build a sustainable world of peace, solidarity and harmony. It invites countries to further promote conciliation, to help ensure peace and sustainable development by working with communities, faith leaders and other relevant actors through reconciliatory measures, acts of service, and by encouraging forgiveness and compassion among individuals.
For Nigeria's economic development to be guaranteed, peaceful coexistence and tolerance remains germane issues that must be in the front burner by all stakeholders in the Nigerian project. Correspondents report that stakeholders say national consciousness rather than regional and self-actualization sentiments must be the focal point to sustain the unity of the nation. The report.
Conflict, violence, and mutual disaffection are still very much in the front burner, threatening peaceful coexistence and truncating development of the affected countries or states. Nigeria is not immune against this sad narrative, with a number of internally displaced persons in the country caused by activities of armed bandits and insurgents. Many of these conflicts are caused by needless misunderstanding and perceived injustice, which makes people take laws into their hands by attacking vulnerable persons. Sustainable peace, stakeholders explain, start from the home front and transcend the society.
Let that be peace. Peace, domestic peace at home. You know, due to COVID-19, you see a lot of families engaged. Some wife or an husband. Okay. Just make sure, let's maintain the peace between neighbor. Let there be peace. Do you know that it is peace from the home that we transcend outside? Even the Bible back it up that a man that is not able to govern his home, she is not worthy to govern outside.
For the world to have peace, the world leaders need to be just. Even the fighters in the womb desire justice. So where there is justice, it is natural that you will have peace there. But where people try to manipulate things, put things where they're supposed not to be, try to suppress some groups or tribe or whatever, there will always be insurgents. But if the leaders of the world try to adopt justice and fear in their dealings, people don't have choice. Naturally, they will do the normal.
For the respondents, an egalitarian society where every Nigerian has a sense of belonging is crucial to ensuring lasting peace and development. According to them, people will generally respond in different ways when they perceive economic exploitation.
The Bible supported that we should be at peace with all men. So the advice I will just give the whole world that we should try to what? Maintain the peace. There should be dialogue. You know, especially now that we are in this generation, every nation trying to compete, okay, with one another. You can't be an economic power and you also want to be a political power. No, that has been the problem. Okay, so it's just dialogue.
Whatever we have done as Nigerians, until we start to see ourselves as one, this one will not see himself as APC, this one will not see himself as PDP or ABGA. Let's see ourselves as one and the same. That's the first thing forward. And this idea of which state do you come from, which religion do you belong to, as part of our forms that we feel, that one should also be abolished. Let's see ourselves as one Nigeria. And let issues be treated on merit.
Based on these challenges, we feel that the only solution to Nigerian problem now is to go back to the base. And to achieve that, there are some things we have to do in order to change our policies. To divide it is not the issue, because we feel that this has to do with the agenda of imperialism. Our division is a target of international force. But because our unity is a strength, even not only to Nigeria but to Africa, and to find solutions to that, we have to come back to the base to resolve our constitution.
A peaceful resolution of some internal wranglings, experts say, will fast-track the realization of the dreams of the nation's founding fathers. In Ijebu-Ode,
the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Awal Gambo, says the Nigerian Navy and maritime law enforcement agencies have made commendable efforts in the arrest and prosecution of maritime offenders, but the existing loopholes in the nation's judicial system has continued to prolong trial period of offenders. Vice Admiral Gambo stated this while speaking with participants of Lami War College on the achievement of the Nigerian Navy, from where Ashibong Basi reports.
Serve as a deterrent to others, but will also help in checking criminalities. This is why the Chief of Naval Staff is concerned about the judiciary's speedy trial period for sea pirates and other suspected criminals involved in piracy and illegal activities on the nation's waterways. The Chief of Naval Staff maintained that the loopholes has led to prolonged litigation and abandonment of several vessels across Nigerian Navy bases. Beyond the logistics and manpower committed to this process, the Nigerian Navy says it has also committed enormous resources to keep the over 100 detained vessels in its custody.
The Nigerian Navy is required to dominate the maritime environment in collaboration with relevant maritime agencies to curb contemporary threats in order to peacefully utilize the maritime domain.
Unlike the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies who have the constitutional power to prosecute offenders, the Nigerian is not permitted to prosecute maritime offenders in civil court. These challenges notwithstanding, the Chief of Naval Staff lauded the federal government for their unprecedented intervention in equipping the Nigerian Navy for effective operations. In Calabar, Achibumbasi, NTA News.
Academic activities at the Yaba College of Technology, Lagos, have been totally shut down following a 2-week indefinite strike embarked upon by members of the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic, ASUP. Adeni Taiwo monitored the situation on campus and filed in this report.
Non-resumption of academic activities, originally scheduled for Monday, 16th May, for full-time students of Yaba College of Technology who have been on break, is the first casualty of the industrial action embarked upon by members of ASUP in the institution. There was a lull in activities on the campus, which was near deserted, but for part-time and new students who were seen busy processing their admission into the institution. Adebiyi and Oyekon just got admitted for higher national diploma programs. They are worried about the impact of the strike on their studies.
The students are supposed to spend like maybe 2 years in HND now, because I wanted to do my HND now. So 2 weeks have already gone out of it. So it's really affecting us.
I feel like it is not a fair part-time because we want a short time to cover up things.
I want ASUP to please and everybody involved to come to a resolution just for the students.
Confirming the commencement of the strike, Chairman, Yaba College of Technology chapter of ASUP, Comrade Ojomonde, said the strike, though total, will be for only 2 weeks in the expectation that the federal government would use the window to address the issue of payment of revitalization fund for the sector and other grievances of the union.
The non-release of the minimum wage arrears is 10 months. And then the appointment of unqualified rectors into 5 institutions, although the union is in court on that. And then the discriminate implementation of the Polytechnic Act 2019 as amended.
Part-time supposed to be like an independent program. I don't know why they included part-time. And we will still probably need to ask them why.
ASUP had in June 10, 2021 suspended its 61-day strike following a memorandum of action signed with the federal government. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
You're still watching the news at 7 on NTA Jebode. The news continues after this message.
We all have stories, but only the best will make Globe Battle of the Year Nigeria. The search for Africa's most creative dance talent.
You're welcome back. The absence of current and reliable data for basic education in Nigeria is one of the major challenges hindering the seamless implementation of quality framework. But this is about to change as the Universal Basic Education Commission is engaging the stakeholders on solution-driven approach. Vera John will tell us more.
Is the first stage that lays foundation for the development of every child. This is perhaps why these educationists are gathered here to devise ways of achieving excellence in this subsector. And to fulfill its mandate, UBEC is conducting national personnel audit of all basic education institutions in Nigeria in compliance with the UBE Act 2004.
Data enables us to plan effectively, identify the strengths and weaknesses of our system, as well as the challenges in our implementation strategies.
Some participants at the consultative meeting of the 2022 National Personnel Audit are optimistic that the first 9 years of schooling in Nigeria will be more impactful.
Accurate and credible data is critical to planning. The number of learners we have in our classroom across all levels, it then allows us to determine how many teachers we need.
Quantity of education materials to supply. It will also help you to determine the infrastructure you should put in place and all that will make up for quality education.
Enable the federal government to make policy and budget to see how Nigerian children are captured.
In Abuja, Ian Ray John, NTA News.
The 24-hour curfew imposed on Sokoto Metropolis by the Sokoto State Government has been relaxed. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information, Issa Bachi Galadanchi, says this follows briefing by security heads. Ruth Hagwele completes the reports.
People pursue their legitimate businesses. Government also advised people to maintain peace as it will not condone any breach of order in the state. Education is the first stage that lays foundation for the mental development of every child.
To end the news, here is a recap of our major stories. Stakeholders have identified peaceful coexistence as germane to economic development. Academic activities was stalled today at Yaba College of Technology in Lagos following ASUP indefinite strike. And lastly tonight, we inform you that Sokoto State Government has relaxed the curfew imposed on Sokoto Metropolis. That does it on the news tonight. The news continues in Yoruba language with Bumi One after the break. Thanks for staying with us.
pé ìbágbépọ̀ àlàáfíà ṣe kókó fún ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé láti fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀. Ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ dẹnu kọlẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹgbẹ́ ASUP ti gùnlé ìyanṣẹ́lódì ọlọ́sẹ̀ méjì. Ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Sokoto ti dẹ́kun òfin kónílé-ó-gbélé. Ẹ káalẹ́, a kú ọrọ̀ ajé òní. Ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn la mú wá fún yín láti iléeṣẹ́ tẹlifíṣàn ìjọba àpapọ̀ tó fìdí kalẹ̀ sílùú Ìjẹ̀bú Òde. Bùnmi Òní ní orúkọ tèmi, ẹ̀wọ̀n nǹkan fìdílé láti gbádùn ìròyìn náà dọ̀bà. Òní ní ìsàmì àyájọ́ gbígbépọ̀ nínú àlàáfíà. Ó jẹ́ ọjọ́ láti polongo àlàáfíà, ìpamọ́ra, ìdásí òye àti ìfìmọ̀ṣọ̀kan. Látàrí àyọrísí ibi ogun àgbáyé kejì, àjọ ìṣọ̀kan àgbáyé kéde ọjọ́ 16 oṣù karùn-ún ọdọọdún gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọjọ́ ìsàmì gbígbé papọ̀ nínú àlàáfíà láti dóòlà ìran tó ń bọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ìparun ogun. Ruth Aguele ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí. Fún ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé orílẹ̀-èdè yìí láti fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀, ìbágbépọ̀ àlàáfíà àti ìpamọ́ra jẹ́ kókó. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí àwọn alẹ́nulọ́rọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ gbé yẹ̀wò. Akọ̀ròyìn Wàjọ́ Òpópó Ọlájábọ̀ wípé ìfẹ́ àpapọ̀ láìsí ìmọ̀tara ẹni nìkan ni a gbọ́dọ̀ pàtì láti lè ṣe ìfìdímúlẹ̀ ìṣọ̀kan orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Adarí àwọn ọmọ ogun ojú omi Ọ̀gágun àgbà Awal Gambo ti sọ wípé iléeṣẹ́ ológun ojú omi àti àwọn iléeṣẹ́ agbófinró ojú omi ti ṣàkítímápá nínú mímú àti ìpìlẹ́jọ́ àwọn tó ń lùfin ojú omi. Àmọ́ àwọn kòtò tó wà lẹ́ka ètò ìṣèdájọ́ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ló fi kún àkókò ìgbẹ́jọ́ àwọn ẹlẹ́ṣẹ̀ wọ̀nyí. Ọ̀gá àgbà Gambo ló fi èyí léde lákòókò tó ń bá àwọn akópa ilé ẹ̀kọ́ ìgbógun lámì sọ̀rọ̀ lórí àwọn àṣeyọrí iléeṣẹ́ ológun ojú omi. Àṣebọ̀n Básì ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí ṣọwọ́ sí wa. Ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga ìmọ̀ ẹ̀rọ nílùú Èkó ló ti doríkodò báyìí látàrí ìyanṣẹ́lódì ọlọ́sẹ̀ méjì èyí tí ẹgbẹ́ àwọn olùkọ́ ilé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga gbogbonìṣe ìyẹn ASUP gùn lé. Adéníyì Táíwò ló ní ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ ìròyìn yìí. Àìsí àkọsílẹ̀ tó mọyan lórí tó sì bágbà mu fún ẹ̀kọ́ àkọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ìpèníjà kan gbòógì tó ń dènà ìfisípò ìlànà ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó kúnjú òṣùwọ̀n. Ṣùgbọ́n àyípadà tí ń dé bá èyí gẹ́gẹ́ bí àjọ tó wà fún ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ alákọ̀ọ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí ń pàdé pọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn adarí tọ́rọ̀ kàn lórí ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí àwọn ìpèníjà wọ̀nyí. Lèrè John ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí. Ní báyìí ẹ̀yin ará, ẹ jẹ́ ká dánu dúró dẹ̀ nínú ìròyìn wa láti tẹ́tí sí ọ̀rọ̀ àmọ̀ràn ráńpẹ́ yìí.
Mom, please take me to NTA Ijebu-Ode for Children's Day party.
Really? NTA Ijebu-Ode, your heritage station, is at it again, celebrating Children's Day in grand style. There will be lots to eat and drink, games, dancing competition, match pass, fashion parade, cultural dance, and lots more. This is 27th May 2022. Time is 11 in the morning. Gate fee 1,300 naira per child. Mommies, daddies, bring your children to NTA Ijebu-Ode to come and have fun. For more inquiries, call Ajuwon on 08068196602 or Tola on 08065542413. Happy Children's Day.
Ìròyìn tẹ̀síwájú láti iléeṣẹ́ NTA Ijebu-Ode. Òfin kónílé-ó-gbélé ọlọ́jọ́ kan èyí tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Sokoto fi de àárín ìlú náà ni wọ́n ti dẹ́kun rẹ̀ báyìí. Àtẹ̀jáde kan látọ̀dọ̀ kọmíṣánná fún ètò ìròyìn Isa Bachi Galadanchi sọ wípé èyí jẹ́ látàrí àbájáde àwọn adarí ètò ààbò ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Ruth Aguele ló jábọ̀ ìròyìn yìí bákan náà. Kí á tó mú ìròyìn ti àṣálẹ́ òní wá sí ìdánudúró, ẹ̀gbọ́n àwọn kókó tí a mẹ́nubà lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. A mú wá fún yín wípé àwọn ẹlẹ́nulọ́rọ̀ ti sọ wípé ìbágbépọ̀ àlàáfíà ṣe kókó ṣe pàtàkì fún ìdàgbàsókè ọrọ̀ ajé láti fẹsẹ̀ múlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ yìí. Ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ti dẹnu kọlẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹgbẹ́ ASUP ti gùnlé ìyanṣẹ́lódì ọlọ́sẹ̀ méjì. Bákan náà ni a tún wá fún yín wípé ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Sokoto ti dẹ́kun òfin kónílé-ó-gbélé ọlọ́jọ́ kan rẹ̀. So a ò ní rí jù báyìí lọ nínú ìròyìn wa fún ti àṣálẹ́ òní. ẹ pàdé wa ní ọ̀la fún àkọ́tún ìròyìn. Orúkọ èmi níròyìn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ni Bùnmi Òní. Ó dàárọ̀, oorun ayọ̀ la ó sùn.